I tell you what, I just told my people 2 minutes ago, I didn't know they'd be calling. I said, we're giving the State of the Union speech on Tuesday night. I could send a military plane or something, but if you would like to, it's the coolest night, it's the biggest.
Olympic gold, a locker room celebration, then a direct call from the President of the United States. What happened next moved Team USA from the ice rink to the White House stage. Cameras followed and headlines spread across the country. But one announcement during that visit changed the entire spotlight, and not everyone expected what came next. Team USA's men's hockey team won the Olympic gold medal after defeating Canada 2-1 in overtime at the 2026 Winter Olympics. The winning goal ended the game and secured the United States' first men's Olympic hockey gold medal in decades. Players celebrated in the locker room moments after the final whistle. During that celebration, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, placed a phone call to the team. According to Reuters, Trump congratulated the players and invited them to Washington, D.C. The call happened while the team was still inside the locker room. The moment was recorded and later shared across media platforms, drawing national attention. Reports said that the President of the United States invited the team to visit the White House and attend the State of the Union address. The invitation connected their Olympic victory directly to a major political event. Soon after returning to the United States, members of the team traveled to Washington. The players visited the White House before attending the State of the Union address. During the address, they were recognized publicly. ESPN reported that the team received bipartisan applause inside the chamber. Lawmakers from both parties stood and acknowledged the Olympic champions. During the same address, President Donald Trump announced that goaltender Connor Hellebuyck would receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That medal is one of the highest civilian honors in the United States. The announcement shifted attention toward Hellebuyck's performance in the Olympic tournament. Hellebuyck played a key role in the gold medal run. He made critical saves during the final game against Canada, including stops late in regulation that forced overtime. His performance throughout the tournament placed him among the most discussed players of the event. Reuters confirmed that some players were unable to attend certain Washington events due to professional or personal commitments. However, the team's appearance at the White House and at the State of the Union remain a central part of post-Olympic coverage. At the same time, public discussion expanded beyond the win itself. Media outlets reported reactions from political figures, sports, commentators, and fans. The team's visit placed Olympic hockey at the center of national political conversation. And as coverage continued, more responses began to surface from different corners of the sport. The White House visit did not mark the end of the story. Coverage expanded as reactions emerged from across the hockey community and national media. Attention shifted from the gold medal result to the broader political response surrounding the visit. Reuters reported that the U.S. women's hockey team, which also won gold at the 2026 Winter Olympics, did not commit to attending the White House or the State of the Union address due to scheduling conflicts. A team spokesperson said they were honored and grateful for the invitation. That statement was carried across multiple outlets and added another layer to the public discussion. Further coverage focused on remarks made about the women's team. Reuters reported that U.S. women's captain Hilary Knight described one of President Donald Trump's comments as a distasteful joke. That quote was published directly in the report and quickly circulated through sports and political media. The response placed additional attention on how both teams were being discussed after their victories. Meanwhile, the men's team's appearance at the State of the Union remained a central highlight. ESPN reported that the players stood inside the chamber as they were introduced, receiving applause from lawmakers. The recognition positioned the Olympic champions before a national audience during one of the most watched political speeches of the year. President Donald Trump's announcement that Connor Hellebuyck would receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom continued to draw attention. The Presidential Medal of Freedom is awarded to individuals who have made significant contributions to the national interests of the United States, world peace, cultural endeavors, or other public or private efforts. The decision connected an Olympic performance directly to a civilian honor traditionally given to leaders, artists, and public figures. Media reports noted that White House sports visits have occurred under multiple administrations. Championship teams from various professional leagues have historically been invited to Washington following major titles. The men's hockey team visit followed that tradition, but the timing alongside the State of the Union gave the event broader exposure. As coverage continued, discussion extended to player participation. Reuters noted that some athletes had professional obligations that limited their attendance at certain events in Washington. Still, the team's collective presence during the State of the Union address remained widely broadcast. The Olympic gold medal victory began with a 2-1 overtime win on the ice. Within days, the team stood inside the U.S. Capitol during a nationally televised address. The sequence connected sports national recognition and political ceremony in one continuous timeline. And with both men's and women's teams drawing attention for different reasons, coverage of the visit continued to evolve.
The USA this time around.
Let's face it, heroic move, but if not for Connor Hellebuyck, there's no way Jack Hughes gets that opportunity. Let's bring Craig Button into this conversation. Craig, Connor McDavid, breakaway, stopped by Hellebuyck. Macklin Celebrini, breakaway, stopped by Connor Hellebuyck. No doubt he was the MVP of the gold medal game, Craig?
I don't think there's any question. I think the only reason the USA had the gold medals hanging around their neck is because of Connor Hellebuyck's brilliance. And it was brilliant. Yes, Nathan MacKinnon hit the outside of the post and didn't score. But you think about the glorious scoring chances that Canada had time and time and time again, and from their best players. And they really worked Connor Hellebuyck. And Connor Hellebuyck worked just as hard to make sure that that puck wasn't getting...
Connor Hellebuyck just did exactly what Team USA needed in the Olympic final. Facing 40, 2 shots from Canada, he stopped 40. One of them, the gold medal game remained tied for most of the night because of his performance. When overtime arrived, the score was still 1-1. The United States won 2, one in Hellebuyck's saves made that moment possible. The 2026 Winter Olympics men's hockey final brought NHL players back to the Olympic stage. The matchup featured the United States and Canada, 2 longtime rivals in international hockey. Canada entered the game with offensive depth and shot volume. The United States relied on defensive structure and goaltending stability. From the opening period, Canada generated pressure. The Canadians recorded more shots in the first frame. Hellebuyck tracked pucks through traffic and controlled rebounds. Despite sustained offensive zone time from Canada, the United States left the first period with a 1-0 lead after a goal from Matt Boldy. Hellebuyck stopped every Canadian attempt in that period. In the second period, Canada continued to test him. Defenseman Cale Makar scored late in the period to tie the game 1-1. The shot beat Hellebuyck during a sequence of sustained pressure. It was the only puck that crossed the line against him during the entire game. After that goal, he denied every additional attempt. Through 2 periods, Canada held a clear advantage in shots on goal. Hellebuyck faced attempts from the slot, the blue line, and net front scrambles. He maintained positioning and square angles to shooters. The United States defense cleared rebounds quickly, but the volume of attempts remained high. The third period carried gold medal implications with the score tied. Canada pressed for the lead. Hellebuyck stopped multiple chances during close-range sequences. He denied attempts during transition rushes and controlled loose pucks in heavy traffic. Neither team scored in the third period. Regulation ended 1-1. The official stat line showed Canada with 42 total shots on goal. Hellebuyck recorded 41 saves. That resulted in a save percentage above .970 in the championship game. The United States recorded 23 shots in total. The statistical gap in attempts emphasized the role of the American goaltender. Overtime followed under Olympic medal round rules using a 3-on-3 format. The open ice increased the speed of play. The United States began the extra period with possession. Just 1 minute and 41 seconds into overtime, Jack Hughes scored the game-winning goal. The 2-1 result secured Olympic gold for the United States. Hellebuyck's performance preserved the tie long enough for that opportunity. Without the 41 saves in regulation, the game would not have reached overtime. His stops in the second and third periods prevented Canada from extending the score beyond 1-1. Sidney Crosby did not play for Canada in the final due to injury. Despite his absence, Canada's roster featured experienced NHL forwards and defensemen. The shot total reflected sustained offensive pressure even without Crosby in the lineup. The victory marked the first Olympic gold medal for the United States men's hockey team since 1980. That year remains the previous gold for the program. The 2026 final ended a 46-year gap between Olympic titles. Hellebuyck's role in the outcome centered on consistency. He stopped shots from distance and handled deflections near the crease. During penalty kills and even strength play, he remained composed. No power play goals were scored against him in the game. Special teams did not determine the result. As the overtime goal ended, the contest teammates skated toward Hughes. Hellebuyck remained in his crease before joining the celebration. the scoreboard confirmed the final score, United States 2, Canada 1 overtime. During post-game celebrations, American players carried Johnny Gaudreau's jersey on the ice in tribute. The team gathered for the medal ceremony shortly after. Hellebuyck received his gold medal alongside teammates following the official confirmation of the result. The final numbers remain clear. Canada outshot the United States 42-23. Hellebuyck stopped 41 of those 42 attempts. The only Canadian goal came from Cale Makar in the second period. Jack Hughes scored at 1 minute and 41 seconds of overtime to secure the win. Connor Hellebuyck delivered the performance required in a championship game. 41 saves in a 2-1 overtime victory defined the Olympic final. The United States secured its third Olympic gold medal in men's hockey, and the record reflects Hellebuyck's 41 save effort as a central factor in that outcome.
Canada won the game. That part is done. Mitch Marner scored in overtime. The team moved on. But inside that win, something shifted. Sidney Crosby left the game with a lower body injury. He did not return. There was no update right away, no timeline, no clear sign of how serious it is. And that silence is the problem. Because this is not just another player. This is the captain, the leader, the calm voice in the biggest moments. Now the question is simple. Can Team Canada win gold without Sidney Crosby? And before you answer that, let's break down why this is bigger than it looks. First, leadership. Crosby is not just wearing a C on his jersey, he controls the bench. When the game gets wild, he slows it down. When the team is nervous, he settles them. Younger players look at him in pressure moments. The semifinal is not a normal game. It is one mistake and you are out. If Crosby cannot play, who controls that moment? Connor McDavid is a superstar, no doubt. But leadership in the Olympics is different. Crosby has done this before. He has scored the golden goal in the past. He knows how the pressure feels. That experience matters. Now think about timing. Canada just survived overtime. That game was tight. Czechia pushed them to the edge. This was not a dominant win. It was a narrow escape. And right after that scare, your captain is injured. That shakes confidence. You can win a game and still feel unstable. That is where Canada is right now. And here's the rehook. Remember the title. More terrible news for Team Canada after Sidney Crosby injury. The terrible news is not just the injury, it is what comes next. Line changes. Crosby plays top-line center minutes. That means ice time must shift. Chemistry changes. Wingers adjust. Face-off roles move around. Crosby is one of the best in key face-offs, defensive zone draws, late-game situations, power play setups. You cannot replace that with one quick switch. Now imagine this happens before a semifinal. There is very little practice time, very little adjustment time. That is pressure. And pressure shows weaknesses. Let's talk about the power play. Crosby anchors a unit that controls space and puck movement. He sees plays early. He reads defenders. Without him, that structure shifts. Maybe it still works, maybe it doesn't. But in Olympic hockey, one failed power play can cost you a medal. Now here's another layer. Opponents are watching. If Canada faces a top rival next, they will attack the middle. They will pressure replacement centers. They will test chemistry early. Why? Because when a captain goes down, there is usually a short window of confusion. And smart teams attack during confusion. That is why this injury is not small. It is strategic. Now let's ask the real question. Will Crosby play? There has been no firm update, no confirmed return date. That uncertainty creates tension inside the locker room. If he is questionable, the team must prepare two plans. One with him, one without him. That splits focus. And in Olympic play, split focus can cost you everything. Rehook again. Canada survived overtime, but did that win cost them their leader? Because if Crosby misses the semifinal, this becomes Connor McDavid's team fully. McDavid can carry offense, he can drive speed, he can change a game in seconds. But this is not just about skill, it is about control. Crosby controls chaos. McDavid creates chaos. That is a different dynamic. And when you are one game away from the gold medal match, control is everything. Now let's look at momentum. Momentum is fragile. Canada barely escaped Czechia. That already raised questions about defensive gaps and late-game structure. Add an injured captain to that. Suddenly, the narrative shifts. Instead of Canada looks unstoppable, it becomes, is Canada vulnerable? That shift matters. Media talks about it. Players hear it. Opponents feel it. And Olympic tournaments are short. There is no time to rebuild momentum slowly. You either stay steady or you fall. Now here is another cliffhanger. What if Crosby tries to play through it? Lower body injuries are risky. If he plays limited minutes, does that hurt the lineup flow? If he sits partially, does that disrupt rotations? Sometimes a half-healthy captain creates even more problems. That decision will define this tournament. Coaches must weigh leadership versus risk, and that decision may already be happening behind closed doors. So what is the value angle here? This moment reveals how deep Canada truly is. If depth centers step up, if special teams stay sharp, if McDavid embraces full command, Canada proves they are built for adversity. But if structure breaks under pressure, this injury becomes the turning point of the Olympics. And remember, Olympic hockey is single elimination now. There is no recovery game. One bad night without your captain ends the gold dream. That is why this is more than injury news. It is a stability test. Team Canada is not just fighting opponents anymore. They are fighting uncertainty. And uncertainty is dangerous in tournament hockey. Let's bring it back one more time. Team Canada in trouble after Sidney Crosby injury? Right now, the answer is not clear. But the risk is real. If Crosby returns strong, this becomes a rally story, a captain leading through pain, a team united. If he cannot go, this becomes the biggest challenge Canada faces in this tournament. And the semifinal will reveal everything. Canada escaped elimination. Now they must prove they did not lose their foundation in the process. Gold medal hopes are still alive. But without Sidney Crosby, the margin for error just got smaller. Much smaller. And the next game will tell us whether this was just a scare or the moment everything changed.